Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. So, are you working a minimum wage paying job, or are you receiving a low income? Well, if so, this video is going to be for you, because I'm going to be sharing with you 7 tips that are going to help you start saving more of your income. So really quick, I just wanted to share with you guys my inspiration behind creating this video. So I can completely relate, and I totally understand exactly what it's like to work a minimum wage paying job or to receive a low income. And I just wanted to create this video in hopes that someone can watch it and that they can just utilize the tips and strategies that I'm sharing within the video, and that they can begin to save more of their income and not go through the same struggles that I did financially. So that's why I went ahead and created this video. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, so tip number 1 that I have to share with you guys today is going to be overtime. So my suggestion, if you want to start saving money and you're on a really tight budget as it is, and you have your fixed expenses already, and you're clearly surviving off of the income that you receive now, so it would be to work any possible overtime that's made available to you, so then that way you can create additional income that you're not typically used to receiving on your check. So then that way, in return, as you receive that additional income, you can save the difference between your typical expenses and the income that you're used to receiving, and that other extra income that you're receiving by working those additional hours of overtime. So let's say an example of this would be if you work until you receive your paycheck, and you just only work your normal hours, and your paycheck comes out to $250. And in this case, you say, okay, now I'm going to start working overtime, and you work a little bit of overtime, and now you get your check and it's $300. So you would then be able to say, okay, when I was only receiving $250, I had no extra money, I just pay my bills, I just get by, that's it. No way to save, it's too tight of a budget. But if you work a little extra overtime, you get a little extra money on your check, that additional $50, you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm still gonna pay all my bills and my expenses and things that I normally do out of my paycheck, but I have an additional $50 that I'm not gonna go out and blow now, but I'm gonna go ahead and save that money. So this is gonna be an example of tip number 1 of just using overtime to create additional income so that you can save. So tip number 2 that I have to share with you guys today is gonna be minimizing your housing expenses. So how do you go about minimizing your housing expenses? So for starters, if you're renting out on your own now and it's possible and you're able to, then I suggest moving back in with your parents, so that way you can either eliminate either all of your monthly rent expenses, or maybe just a portion of it. You can be able to negotiate the terms with your parents, and they maybe allow you to move back in, and you just pay a portion of what you were initially paying when you were out on your own, and that will significantly either eliminate or cut down your housing expenses completely. And then as you're still earning your income like normal, you would now be able to save all that additional money because you're not spending it now on housing. Now, if moving back in with your parents is not an option, then I suggest renting out a room to either a friend or a family member if possible, and then in doing so, it's going to allow you to be able to cut your housing expenses most likely in half, or whatever portion it is that you work out the numbers, and then that difference that you're able to save by that other family member or friend is going to pay, that amount that they pay, it would obviously reduce your cost by that amount, and you would be able then to, because you're not having to spend it, then now you have the option to either save all of it or a portion of that income. So this is just an example of tip number 2 to allow you to start saving more of your income. Okay, you guys, so tip number 3 that I have to share with you guys is going to be cutting down and minimizing your spending on your grocery shopping. So how do you go about cutting down your spending when it comes to your grocery shopping? Because I know grocery shopping, it's not cheap, and it can get expensive very fast. You grab a few things that you like, next thing you know, you get to the cash register, you spent $100. So how do you do this? You cut down and minimize your expenses by, first and foremost, making sure that you do not go to the grocery store hungry. Because if you go to the grocery store hungry, you're going to be not focusing on what are the things that you need to buy and that you need to use to prepare your meals and your dinners and lunches for the week or for the month or the next couple of days. You're going to be focusing on the foods that are appealing to you while you're in the store at the time, whatever looks good, whatever stands out to you, which in return is going to cause you to overspend. And that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So make sure that you don't go to the grocery store hungry. And then also, another way that you can cut down on your grocery spending is to pre-plan your meals for however long it is you go grocery shopping for, whether it's for the next few days or the week or however long it is that you go grocery shopping for. So just make sure that you plan out those meals accordingly, and that you make a list if it's possible. So then that way you just go according to your list, your grocery list. You go in, you only buy the items that you need to buy, and you're not overbuying or buying any unnecessary items that you don't need. And as a result, this is going to cause you to just stay focused, stay on budget, only buy what you need to buy, and not overspend. And then lastly, even though you already have to buy those items or whatever, the items that you're gonna buy, just make sure that when it's possible and when you're able to, without doing so in such a way that's going to cause to affect like the flavor of your foods and things, just make sure that when it's possible that you substitute the more premium brands of products that you're going to buy at the grocery store for possibly like some generic or just lower priced brands that are going to still give you and deliver the same quality but just for a little less price. So when it's possible, go to the grocery store, making sure that you're not hungry, make sure that you pre-plan out your meals for the week or however many days it is that you go grocery shopping for, so that way you just stick to your list. And then also just make sure whenever it's possible that you go ahead and substitute the premium brands that you would maybe normally buy for either a generic or just a little lower price of an item. And this will create additional money by you cutting down and minimizing on your grocery spending. Okay, you guys, before we get into tip number 4, if you guys could just go ahead and just hit the like button on this video, so then that way YouTube will just help this video get out to as many people as possible who are either working a minimum wage job or receiving a low income, so then that way they can use these steps and use these tips to start saving more of their income. So with that being said, let's get into tip number 4. So tip number 4 is going to be cutting down and reducing and minimizing your transportation costs as much as possible. So how do we go about doing that? So the first thing is not having a car payment. I hope you do not have a car payment, because it's really eating at your income each month if you do have a car payment. And if you do, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry. As best as you can and as soon as possible, pay that car off, because debt is really a killer when it comes to really income of all sources, but particularly on a low income or a minimum wage job. So yes, if you have a car payment, just make your scheduled payments, pay it off as soon as you can, or whenever possible, just pay that car payment off, so that way you could free up that income and you not be strapped with a car payment each month. So okay, no car payment, that's out of the way. So the next thing is going to be fuel cost. When it comes to your fuel, there's going to be all kinds of gas stations that are offering all kinds of prices. So my suggestion is find that cheapest gas station within your city and always try to fill your car up at that gas station, because that's already the cheapest place. Get the most of your money by going to that gas station. Make it a point to fill your tank up, and when you're running low, go back to that same gas station. Always fill up your tank at that cheapest gas station. And a lot of gas stations will offer even lower prices than for all cash payers than if you just use like a debit card or a credit card. So at those gas stations, if you already could go to the cheapest gas station and get the price even cheaper on your fuel by paying cash, make it a point to pay cash, so then you could get an even cheaper price, reducing your transportation costs even more. And the last and final step for cutting down your transportation costs is going to be to get on the phone and negotiate your insurance premium with your auto insurance specialist. And you just want to go ahead and negotiate those terms, hopefully reduce your premium that you pay each month, and hopefully after negotiating with them, without jeopardizing your coverage that you have, that you can still have the same coverage and at the same time reduce your premium. And if you use these 3 tips, you should definitely be able to significantly cut down and reduce your transportation costs. Okay, you guys, so tip number 5 that I have to share with you guys is going to be eliminating any and all debt that you have. So carrying debt of any kind, especially when you have a low income or you're earning a minimum wage, it's literally detrimental and killer to you, like financially and your financial life, because before you could even earn your money, you already owe some. So this is where I'm going to recommend that whatever debts that you have, that you go ahead and pay those off as soon as possible, so then that way you can free up all that income that would just normally and typically be just mailed out each month to all those different debtors that you owe, all the people that you owe money to. And you don't want to owe any money to anybody. I mean, unfortunately, earning a low or a minimum wage income is already like literally as low of an income as you can earn. So the last thing you want to do is owe people money. And unfortunately, it's a lot of people that are on a low income that end up moving towards debt just to try to live a lifestyle that they can't actually afford to live. So do not practice the habit of like getting yourself into debt. So, but unfortunately, if you're already in debt, I understand, I've made those mistakes, we all make those mistakes, but that's what this video is here for. It's to help you. So if you are in debt, make it a point to eliminate any and all debt that you have, so then that way you free up that income, and then now because it's freed up, now you have the option to be able to save that income instead of having it being mailed out to whichever company and whoever it is that you owe debt to. So that's going to be tip number 5. Cut down, or preferably eliminate, all debt that you have, so then that way you could free up your income and save that income that you would normally have attached to a debt. Okay, you guys, so tip number 6 that I have to share with you guys is going to be cutting out and eliminating all of your discretionary spending and your entertainment costs. So I know this is the part you guys are all going to get mad at me for, and you guys don't want to hear, and you don't like hearing it, but I got to keep it real with you guys. Earning a minimum wage income or a very low income, I mean, you're just not financially in a position to where you could just literally financially afford to go out and do the things that you want to. You're really just in a position where you need to just make your money go the furthest, and you can only afford to spend your money on things that are needs and not just things that are wants. So really, unless you can find something that's really, really, really very inexpensive or preferably free to do, just only focus on spending your money on things that are essentials, things that are needs, like food and lights and water and gas, like transportation, things like that. Nothing that is like, I need Starbucks, or I need to go get Chipotle, because those are not things that you need. Or I need to go shopping. It's like, no, you don't. It's just, you can't afford to do those things. I mean, I know everyone needs to buy new things, but not as often as the typical person goes out and buys these things. You don't need to buy those things every single time you get paid. So by utilizing these tips, by just focusing only and spending your money only on your needs and not on things that you just want, that you truly can't do without, then that's gonna just really, really reduce your expenses overall each paycheck and each month, and which allows you to now keep more of your income that you've earned, and then that income that you're now saving, because you're not spending it and not wastefully just out there spending it, you're able to save that income. So that's going to be tip number 6 that I have for you guys, is just eliminating and cutting out all your, basically your wants and your discretionary spending. Okay, you guys, so the last tip that I have to share with you guys, tip number 7. So tip number 7 is going to be all about automating your savings. So how do you automate your savings? So you're going to automate your savings by, first of all, opening up some type of savings account. Maybe it's where you bank with already, or maybe you'd prefer to open it up, a savings account at some other bank or institution, maybe an online bank, whatever it is, however you choose to go about it. But you need to open up some other savings account that's not attached to your, you cannot pretend that your savings account is going to be inside of your checking account, because that just will not work. It's horribly, there is no separation. It's not organized that way. You can't tell your savings from your spending, and you will ultimately, almost guaranteed, spend your savings money. So you do not want it that accessible. You want it, yes, close enough and quick enough where you can get it when you need it, but not literally mixed within your checking account. So first step is opening up some type of savings account, whether it's with the banking institution that you bank with, or at some other outside bank, whether it be an online bank or some other physical bank that you can go to. And I actually have a video that I made on the Credit Karma savings account that you can actually open up one of those accounts. I'll put the link down in the description so you can go ahead and watch that video, learn a little more about that savings account if you're interested. But you definitely don't need to use that one. You can use any savings account with any bank that you prefer and that you feel comfortable with. So first and foremost, open up a savings account totally separately from your checking account. And then you're gonna have the option whether you can go inside and do it and set it up with your bank, or there will be an option online where you just log onto your account and you just go to reoccurring drafts, and you just want to have reoccurring auto draft payments coming from your checking account to that savings account that you've created. And you can do it on a weekly or a monthly or a bi-weekly or whatever it is, the transfer status that you want to do it as. So it could be as often or as unoften as you'd like it to be, but you just want the process to be automated, so then that way there is no potential for you to forget to physically go and withdraw the money from your bank and then go put it into the other bank, because you want it to be like it's a seamless transaction. It's just going to happen automatically. It's completely automated, and it's very little work on your part. It's once you set it up, it's set and forget, and it's very low effort, but it's very high reward, because over time you're going to see, even if you put small amounts of money but consistently over time, it's going to build up. Your savings will build up, and you'll be very glad that you did this. When I actually started using this step, it really changed the way that I viewed savings. So automating your money, tip number 7, it's huge. Go ahead and get started with that tip. Okay, you guys, so those are the 7 tips that I have to share with you guys today to help you start saving more of your income while earning a minimum wage income or while just receiving a low income. So with that being said, I hope you guys utilize these tips. And now that you guys are going to start saving all this money, I'd like to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Just tell me, so what is going to be your saving goals? How much do you plan on saving, or what do you plan on saving towards? And also, if you guys are not subscribed here to the channel, please just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and also turn on the notification bell. And if you guys could just give this video a like, just hit the thumbs up button on this video. And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.